They were 5 young women and they had the rest of their lives ahead of them. Salma Abdikadir was 20 years old. Siham Adam was 19. Sabiriin Ali was just 17. Sahra Gesaade was 20. Sagal Hersi was 19. 5 young women, all of them friends, all of them gathered together on a warm June evening in 2023, not for a funeral, not for a goodbye, but for a wedding. They were making preparations for a friend's wedding. They were laughing. They were planning. They were dreaming about the future. They had no idea that their evening would end at a red light, just 2 miles from home. One decision made in a moment of reckless abandon changed the lives of dozens of families forever. And while justice was eventually served, the grief remains. On the evening of June 16, 2023, a Minnesota state trooper spotted a black Cadillac Escalade speeding northbound on Interstate 35W at 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. The SUV was weaving recklessly through traffic. The trooper attempted to catch up. Moments later, the driver suddenly cut across multiple lanes and exited the freeway at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Seconds later, the Escalade barreled through a red light and slammed into a Honda Civic in a catastrophic collision. The impact was so violent that the Honda Civic was pushed 60 feet. All 5 women inside died instantly. As officers rushed toward the wreckage, they discovered the driver had fled the scene. Despite the catastrophic crash that claimed the lives of 5 young women instantly inside the Honda Civic, the suspect was nowhere to be found. Officers quickly secured the area and began searching for the driver as the crash quickly turned into a homicide investigation. Witnesses said the suspect was a black male, about 6 feet tall, wearing a white t-shirt, gray sweatpants, and a beanie on his head. He was bleeding. He had run through a nearby parking lot. Officers set up a perimeter and began searching. But here is what makes this case so compelling. The suspect didn't run far. He actually walked right up to a different police officer and asked for help. Officer Louis approached a man bleeding from his face near a Taco Bell parking lot. The man was sweating, breathing hard, and had fresh blood on his hands. When asked what happened, he said he fell and slipped. He said he tripped over a log. He said it was an old cut. But the officer noticed the blood looked pretty fresh. The man gave his name as Derrick Thompson. He was calm at first, cooperative, even patient. He said he understood the police were just doing their job. He gave them his ID. He let them take a picture of him. He said he had nothing to hide. But witnesses had a different story, and they were about to be asked to identify him. The state patrol needed confirmation. They brought a witness to a parking lot where a man was being held in the back of a squad car. The officers performed what is called a show-up, a procedure where a witness is brought to identify a possible suspect. The witness reported seeing him run from the crash. The witness was certain. And that certainty, combined with the blood, the sweat, and the timing, was enough. Derrick Thompson was placed under arrest, but an arrest is just the beginning. To convict someone of killing 5 people, you need more than a witness identification. You need evidence. And Derrick Thompson had a plan. He told police his brother was driving. He claimed his brother was behind the wheel of the Escalade. He said he was not the one who ran that red light. But investigators found surveillance footage from the airport that showed Thompson renting and driving the Cadillac Escalade before the crash. He was alone in the vehicle. The Escalade's black box recorded speeds of 100 miles per hour seconds before impact. It also recorded the driver's seat position. It matched Thompson's height. When Thompson arrived at the hospital, he made statements to nurses that prosecutors used to show he knew exactly what happened. Thompson's phone placed him at the scene. His brother's phone placed him 20 miles away. The defense tried to argue that Thompson had been drinking and didn't remember. The prosecution argued that drinking isn't an excuse when you choose to drive 100 miles per hour through a red light. The evidence was overwhelming. In June 2025, after a 2-year legal battle, a Hennepin County jury found Derrick Thompson guilty on all 15 felony counts. 5 counts of degree murder, 10 counts of criminal vehicular homicide. The judge sentenced Thompson to more than 50 years in state prison. Combined with a separate 14-year federal sentence for the drugs and firearm found inside the Escalade, Thompson is expected to spend around 64 years behind bars. But for the victims' families, Thompson's apology did little to ease their grief. For over 2 years, he refused to take responsibility for what he did. sitting there with that smug look on his face. He has zero care at all. He made us sit through 2 trials. He put our family through so much. At his sentencing hearing, Thompson spoke publicly for the first time since the crash. He said he was truly sorry. He said there is not a day he doesn't ask God why he didn't take him instead and let your beautiful angels still be here. But the families were not moved. They had heard enough excuses. They had waited long enough for justice. And in the end, justice was served, but it could never bring back Salma, Siham, Sabiriin, Sahra, and Sagal. 5 young women, 8 seconds, 64 years in prison. But no sentence can bring back daughters, sisters, friends, bridesmaids. One decision, made in a moment of recklessness, changed the lives of dozens of families forever. And while justice was served, the grief remains. Or let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.